चोर जय जय माखन चोर। श्री कृष्णचंद्र भगवान की, श्री SadGoswami की, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की। उपस्थित भगवत कथा अनुरागी,
I heartily welcome you all who are attracted to the Shrimad Bhagavatam Katha.
परम सुशोभित करने वाले
I heartily welcome
हमारे अंतर्राष्ट्रीय कृष्ण
the
भावनामृत
senior devotees or Vaishnavas from
वरिष्ठ
International Society of Krishna Consciousness, Iskcon,
दूर दूर से
and
देश विदेश से
I
फेसबुक यूट्यूब
also
के माध्यम से
heartily welcome you all who
वर्तमान
have
काल
gathered
में
from
इस कथा का
all the
श्रवण
parts
करने
of the
वाले
world
समस्त
in
श्रोतागण
huge amount through the
अपने
medium of Zoom,
भावपूर्ण दिल से
YouTube, Facebook, etc.
ब्रह्म मध्य गौड़ीय
I
धाम के
specially welcome
संतों की जीवनी को उजागर
the
करने के लिए
organizers
ये
who,
सुंदर भागवत
with
कथा का आयोजन करने
their
वाले
mellowful heart,
योगेश्वरी
have organized
श्री
this
मेहता परिवार
beautiful
और
katha,
देवलुकिया परिवार,
Mehta family and
जिनके
Devlukya
प्रमुख हैं
family, in whom
हमारे कुंदनबा,
Ku-
गिरीश भाई,
Kundanba, Girish Bhai,
रेखा बेन,
Rekha Ben,
मयूर भाई,
Mayur
मीनाक्षी
Bhai,
बेन,
Meenakshi Ben,
देवलुकिया परिवार से
and
हेमा
from
माता,
Devlukya family, Hema
शैलेश
Mataji,
भाई,
Shailesh
दीपा
Bhai,
बेन, संदीप
Deep,
भाई,
Sandeep Bhai,
राधिका प्रीति माता, घनश्याम
Radhika
प्रिय
Preeti
प्रभु,
Mata, Ghanshyam Priya
नचिकेत
Prabhu,
भाई और
Nachiket
यशु
Bhai,
बेन।
and Yushu.
आप सभी भक्तों का
I welcome
श्रीमद्
you
भागवत
all
कथा के षष्ठ
on the
एवं
6th
अंतिम दिवस में
and the final day
पुनः एक
of
बार
this
हार्दिक
307th
स्वागत
Katha,
एवं
and
आप सबके चरणों में
our humble
विनम्र प्रणाम।
obeisances at your lotus feet. Radhe Shyam.
राधे श्याम। श्रील प्रभुपाद कहते हैं कि 3 प्रकार के लोग होते हैं।
Srila Prabhupada mentions that there are three
फर्स्ट
kinds of
क्लास के लोग
people.
वो होते हैं
The first category of the
जो
people
दूसरों के
is
अनुभव से
who
स्वयं अनुभव कर लेते हैं
learn from the
दूसरों
experiences
के
of
अनुभव से
others
स्वयं सीख जाते हैं।
and learn from the same.
मान लो कोई मार्ग में चल रहा है और उसको
So, for
ठोकर लगी,
example,
वो गिर
if
गया,
somebody
तो उसके
is
पीछे चलने
going
वाला
and
यदि
he
अपना मार्ग बदल ले
falls,
तो वो बुद्धिमान माना जाता है
then if
कि भाई वो
the
गिरा
person who
तो
is
मैं भी गिर
behind
जाऊं।
him, he sees that
भाई
and
चोर
he
चोरी कर
avoids
रहा
the
है
same,
और चोरी करते हुए पकड़ा गया,
then
जेल में दंड
he
दिया
is
गया, तो
intelligent.
दूसरा
So,
चोर यदि सोचे कि अब
for
मैं भी पकड़ा जाऊंगा, मुझे भी
example,
दंड
if a
मिलेगा,
thief
मैं
is
चोरी करना बंद कर दूं,
caught
तो उसे बुद्धिमान
stealing,
माना जाता है। फर्स्ट
then the
क्लास के
other
लोग
thief who avoids doing the same
जो
is
दूसरों
called
के
intelligent, and
अनुभव
that
से
is the
अनुभव
first
कर ले,
category
वो
of
फर्स्ट क्लास
people.
का आदमी है।
So, this is the first category
जो
of
अपने
people
जीवन में
who
अनुभव होने के बाद
learns
सुधर जाए,
from the
संभल
experiences
जाए,
of others.
अपने मार्ग को
On the
संभाले
other hand,
सुधारे, तो वो
there is
सेकंड क्लास
another
का आदमी है।
category, the second category of the
लेकिन
people
जो
who
दूसरों को देखकर भी नहीं
experience
समझता,
their own
अपने जीवन में बार बार
experience
होने अनुभव
and
होने
then
पर
they
भी नहीं
learn from the
संभलता
same
समझता,
is the
तो
second
श्रील
category.
प्रभुपाद कहते
And
हैं
the third
वो थर्ड क्लास
category
का आदमी है,
is of the people who
बिल्कुल नीची कैटेगरी का
doesn't
आदमी
even
है,
understands after
जो अपने जीवन में
experiencing their own
केवल फर्स्ट क्लास का
experience
व्यक्ति
and they
वो है
never
जो दूसरों
learn
के अनुभव
anything.
से अपने जीवन को
So
संभालता है।
that is the third category.
आज हमारा परम सौभाग्य है,
Today,
उसी श्रील प्रभुपाद
it's
जी की कृपा से
we have a
हम आचार्य योग का जीवन,
great fortune
आचार्य
that
योग का अनुभव
under the disciplic succession and guidance of Srila Prabhupada
हमारे
that
जीवन को
we are
सुधारने का,
able to
संभालने का
listen and
और
discuss
संवारने का
the
ये सुंदर अवसर, ये सुंदर लाभ प्राप्त हुआ है।
understand the
पिछले लगातार 5 दिनों से
Shad
सब
Goswamis in our
गोस्वामी जैसे
parampara,
संत आचार्यों की
and this is a golden
जीवनी
opportunity
हम
that we
सुन
have
रहे हैं।
received, and about
यदि
whom
मोटा मोटी
we are
इमीडिएटली मेरे
listening
मन में
in
ये
detail.
बातें आ रही हैं
See,
कि मन में
if
प्रश्न हो, इन आचार्यों से हमें क्या अनुभव लेना है,
if we have a question that what
इन
experience
आचार्यों से हमें
can
क्या
we
सीखना
gather
है,
from these acharyas or great
इन
Vaishnavas, highly
सभी
elevated
आचार्यों
devotees
की
of the
जीवनी
Lord,
हमने देखा
we have seen
कि
in
सभी
their
आचार्यों
life
के अपने अपने एक विग्रह है।
that every
श्रीमद
acharya
गोस्वामी के
or
तीन
Goswami
विग्रह थे।
had their
सनातन
own
गोस्वामी
deity.
के मदन मोहन, कल सुना
Sanatan Goswami
गोपाल
had
भट्ट
Madan Mohan,
गोस्वामी के
Gopal Bhatt
राधा
Goswami
रमण,
had Radha
रघुनाथ
Raman,
भट्ट ने तो भागवत को ही अपना
and
विग्रह
Raghunath
बनाया।
Bhatt had Bhagvatam itself,
रघुनाथ दास गोस्वामी
and Raghunath
अपने
Das
गोविंद देव
Goswami
और दामोदर
had
देव।
Govind
आज
Dev
हम
and
सुनेंगे
Damodar Dev.
श्रीपाद जीव
Today
गोस्वामी के
we are
पुत्र
going to listen
राधा
that
दामोदर।
about
इन
Radha
आचार्यों
Damodar,
की
the
जीवनी
deity
से
of Jiva Goswami.
मतलब
So
इमीडिएटली,
from
अब इतना
the
सारा आपने सुना है,
pastime
लेकिन मन में आज
of
आखिरी
these
दिन है,
Shad
छोटा सा
Goswamis,
समय,
what have
तो
we
भाई
learned
हम
so
इनसे
far?
क्या सीखे। अब ये मुझे कहने की
So
जरूरत नहीं है,
as
आप सब बुद्धिमान हो, लेकिन
it
फिर भी
is the concluding
आचार्यों से
days,
सबसे
so
पहले एक चीज तो ये फाइनल होती है,
we must conclude.
निष्कर्ष निकलता है
So
कि
what is the
हमारे
conclusion? You
अपने
all are intelligent,
पर्सनल
but
प्राण
still,
धन होने
I
चाहिए।
just want to pinpoint a few
जैसे
things
रूप
here.
गोस्वामी के अपने विग्रह है,
So the
सनातन
first thing
गोस्वामी
is
के
that
अपने, गोपाल
they
भट्ट के अपने,
all had their
वैसे
own
हमारे अपने
deities.
विग्रह, हमारा अपना संबंध भगवान श्री कृष्ण के
Similarly,
किसी ना
we
किसी रूप से
all
होना
should
चाहिए।
have a deity with which we
आचार्यों
should
से हमें ये सीखना
establish
है, ये अनुभव
a
लेना है।
relationship with the Lord
और उसमें भी हम सब
in,
संसारी हैं, हम गृहस्थ
in
हैं,
the mood that
गृहस्थों
suits
को
us.
प्रथम
And
जिम्मेवारी होती है
especially
कि
as
वे
we are
अर्च विग्रह की
married, we
सेवा
are
करें,
grastas, so that
अर्च
is
विग्रह
our
की
prime
सेवा करें।
responsibility that we should take care
शादी करते
of
हैं ना,
the Arch
हम सब
Vigraha
शादी
or
करके ही
deities
बैठे हैं,
of the
शादी की
Lord.
सीजन चल रही है,
So we
तो
all are
शादी के
married
ऊपर
and
हम
it's a
कहते हैं
season of
विवाह।
marriages.
क्या
So
कहते हैं?
the marriage in Hindi or Sanskrit is called
विवाह
Vivah.
का अर्थ क्या होता है?
So what is the meaning of Vivah?
कवि लोग तो अपनी अपनी बातें करते हैं जिसमें विशेष वाह वाह होती है। वाह वाह,
So,
क्या कपड़ा पहना, वाह, हैं? क्या परफ्यूम डाला, वाह, हैं? क्या भोजन
so
बनाया, वाह।
according
जहाँ
to
विशेष
some
वाह वाह होती
interpretations,
है,
Vivah
तो
means
उसे विवाह
V
कहते हैं। लेकिन
means
संतों ने क्या
special,
सुंदर अर्थ
Vishesh,
किया
or Vah means
कि
hooray.
एक ऐसा संबंध, एक एक ऐसा संस्कार है
But an intelligent
जहां
interpretation
माने
is that
स्त्री और
Vivah
पुरुष,
is such
वी
a
माने
sanskar
विष्णु
or a ritual
और वाह
where
माने रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी,
a
एक ऐसा परिणय, एक ऐसा
man
प्रसंग
and
जहां पे एक
woman,
स्त्री और
so,
पुरुष
so V
भगवान
denotes here
विष्णु को
Vishnu.
वाह, वी माने विष्णु, वाह माने उठाना,
Vah
विष्णु
means
की
to
सेवा
pick
की
him up.
जिम्मेवारी उठाते हैं,
So it
उसे
means
विवाह
that
कहा जाता
they
है।
take
संतों
the
का ये मानना है।
responsibility of
हमने विवाह
Vishnu.
तो किया, लेकिन
That is
विष्णु
the
की जिम्मेदारी
interpretation
नहीं
of
उठाई कि
intelligent
हमारे कोई पति बने,
Brahmanas.
पैसों मारो परमेश्वर, हैं?
But we all
लेकिन
have failed to do that. We have
विवाह का
always
अर्थ
given
परिपूर्ण है
importance
तो
to
स्त्री और पुरुष
material
परमात्मा के
opulence. But
द्वारा
the
भगवान
meaning of
विष्णु की सेवा
marriage
की
here
जिम्मेवारी,
is that
और संतों ने ये
a
देखा
man and women should come
कि विवाह
together
होने के
and
बाद
serve the
यदि
Lord.
विष्णु की सेवा न हो तो विवाह
And
में से वी माने विष्णु को निकाल दीजिए तो क्या बचेगा? आह,
so,
आह, कोई
if we
परमात्मा,
don't
आह,
serve the Lord and we
आह,
remove
आह, फिर
the
वो
V,
आह आह होती
Vishnu,
रहेगी।
of
यदि वी
Viva,
विष्णु को
then
निकाल
the
देंगे,
only thing remaining will be ah, that is
साधु
an
संत जब
expression of
सेवा करो तो
pain.
ये सब बताइएगा उन लोगों को
So whenever you go and
कि
attend a
कृष्ण
marriage, you
नगाड़ा
should
बजाना, घोड़े पर
let the
चढ़ते
people
हैं,
know that this is the real meaning of
विवाह
marriage.
भगवान के सेवा की
Marriage is
जिम्मेदारी।
just not a ritual for
सो आचार्यों की जीवनी हम सुन
showing your opulence and wealth, etc., but to take responsibility of the Lord.
ये मिलता है कि हमें अपने विग्रह होने चाहिए और रोज उस
So
ठाकुर जी की सेवा
we
करनी
should
चाहिए।
understand and learn from acharyas that we should have our own deities and we should serve them on a daily basis.
दुकान में जाकर या लोही बाजार में जाकर विग्रह को खरीदा नहीं है, ध्यान रखो।
And secondly, the acharyas never
2000-20,000
went to the store
हमारे ठाकुर जी हमारे
to
विग्रह।
get the deities.
अच्छा, किसी भी आप देखिए, आपने आज तक
Not
देखा
even a single acharya
आचार्य दुकान से
has
खरीद कर लाया?
bought it from the store.
रूप गोस्वामी को गोमा टीला से गोविंद देव जी मिले।
Rup Goswami got it from
सनातन
Gomati
गोस्वामी
Tila.
को मथुरा से उस
Sa-
चौबे जी की
Sanatan Goswami got it from Mathura, the Madan Mohan deity.
गोपाल भट्ट गोस्वामी को
Gopal
गोकुल
Bhatt
निवासी राधा
Goswami
रमन मिले। आज
got
भी
Radha
जीव
Raman,
गोस्वामी ने स्वयं दुकान से नहीं खरीदा,
and
उनके
today
पुत्र
we've
रूप
listened
गोस्वामी ने
that
जीव गोस्वामी
through
को
Jeev
राधा
Goswami
दामोदर प्रदान किए।
that he got
ये
it
हमारा
from,
इतिहास है कि
he
दुकान
got
वाले
his
सिर्फ
deity
श्रीरंग
Radha
में
Damodar
कि इक्ष्वाकु महाराज ने
from
चाहते तो बना
Acharya.
सकते थे ना कार्विंग करके, नहीं,
So if
ब्रह्मा जी ने
Ikshvaku
अनुग्रह दिए। ये परम
king wanted to have a deity, he could have
हमारा
carved
क्या है
it,
ना,
got it carved from
दिखावे का
himself for
हमारे
himself.
फलाने के घर में ये विग्रह तो हम
But
भी खरीद कर लाएंगे, हम उससे बड़ा लाएंगे, बस दिखावा। मैं अक्सर कहता हूँ कि तुलसी की कितनी भी महंगी माला
but
जाप करो,
the reason
केवल जाप है,
is that
लेकिन वही
you
माला
should get
गुरु
the
अपने हाथों से
deities
देते हैं तो वो
from
दीक्षा हो
the,
जाती है। और जब गुरु वो
you
माला देते हैं
should get the
तो
deities
उस
from
माला
a
को
bona fide
शुद्ध
spiritual
करके देते हैं
master.
और
So
हमारे अंदर
for
योग्यता
example,
को
if
भर
we
देते हैं।
get a tulsi bead,
तो हमें
it
अर्च
the
विग्रह की
most
सेवा
expensive
की
of the
जाओ,
tulsi bead, it's
अपने
not
घर
as
वाले ढंग
opulent
से नहीं,
as the
किसी
tulsi bead
गुरु
that
के
is
अंडर में जाना चाहिए। अब आचार्यों के बारे में
offered
सुना,
by the
लेवल
bona fide
लेवल होने
spiritual
चाहिए,
master,
एकदम
because he
दौड़ना मतलब भाग
by
दौड़
his
तुलसी जी जाके कहाँ से
potency
लेके आ गए,
energizes the
ये
tulsi
तुलसी
bead.
खरीद
So
कर, ये दुकान से
buying
खरीद कर
the
लाते हैं ना,
deities
वो कभी कभी हमको भी
is
कहते हैं हमने
not
लड्डू गोपाल खरीदे। अब
acceptable.
हम
So
उनको क्या
sometimes
कहे,
it
वो
happens
जीव
that
जब तक
people
शरणागति नहीं है तो
tell
हम उनको
that
ज्यादा
we
क्या
have bought
बताएंगे।
laddu gopal from the
दुकान से
store,
खरीदा हुआ विग्रह
so they,
केवल एज अ
but
प्रैक्टिस
we are not
अभ्यास है,
able
वो
to
कोई सेवा नहीं है।
tell them that this
सेवा
is
तो जब
just a
गुरु देते हैं
practice
तब होती है।
until unless
अब
they are
आपने
completely
दुकान से खरीद
surrendered.
रखा है तो छोड़ मत देना,
And if
लेकिन
you
जिन्होंने दुकान से खरीदा
get
वो
it
क्या
from a
करते
bona
अपने
fide
गुरु के
spiritual
पास जाए
master,
और गुरु से उनको सर्टिफाइड कराए कि मैं
only
अच्छा
then
नहीं हूँ,
it is
कर रहा हूँ ठीक है,
certified.
नहीं ठीक है तो मैं कुछ और
So if
करूँगा
you
या
have
करूँगी।
bought it from the store,
ये सब
then
हमको
at least you
सीखना है।
get it certified from
भक्ति
your
भी
guru that
करते
I am
जाइए
doing this
किसी गुरु के
service
सानिध्य
and
में रहकर,
is it okay,
न कि
or the
मनमानी
way
ढंग
I
से।
am doing the pure
आजकल
devotional
बढ़ते
service towards
जाते
the
हैं ना
Lord, is it
मनमाना।
fine,
कृष्ण
or
ने गीता में कहा
do we need
मन
to
मना
change
भव,
something about it?
लेकिन हो
So
गया है मन माना भव।
so
थोड़ी
in
देर
Bhagvat Gita,
कीर्तन
Krishna
खेल
says
खेल के
that
हम लोग क्या
man
कर दिए,
mana mad
मन
bhat
मना को
bhakto,
मन माना कर
but
दिए।
now we have
तो
changed it to
मनमाना
man
नहीं
mana.
होना, भक्ति
We
थोड़ी
act
लेकिन
according
गुरु
to
के
our
नियम
whims
में।
and fancies. We should do pure
तो वही
devotional
भक्ति
service
होगी,
of the Lord
वो भाव वो
under
प्रेम
the
भक्ति
shelter
उदारता होगी।
of a bona
ये
fide
आपको
spiritual
इस
master.
जन्म
Only
में को
then
इतना है
there
कि गुरु के शरणों में जाने में भी लज्जा आती है, गुरु बनाने में भी
on,
लज्जा आती है। और कोई
only
गुरु
then
बनाकर रखे तो
we
वन साइड,
will
हमारे वहाँ कहते हैं ना वन साइड
be,
लव। कई लोग भ्रम में हैं
it
कि लाल
the
बाबा
Lord
मेरा
will
गुरु है,
manifest in
भ्रम
our
मत
heart.
पड़िएगा, मैं किसी का
So
गुरु नहीं हूँ।
sometimes
गुरु कुछ और
we
होता
are
है, गुरु और
filled
शिष्य
with
का
so much
संबंध
pride
अलग
and
होता
ego
है।
that we don't even
हमेशा
want to surrender to the guru.
और जब शरणागति होती है तो
So
आज्ञा मिलती है,
if,
और वह आज्ञा और गुरु
and
के
sometimes
बीच
it's a
सत्य संबंध
one-sided
की
affair, it
ताकत
should
भी
not
होनी चाहिए।
be in that way.
हमारे
So if
आध्यात्मिक जीवन में
you
ये सब
want to have a bona
डेवलप
fide
करना
spiritual
है।
master, you should have a complete surrender towards the master,
तो
and you
इन
should be
आचार्यों की जीवनी से
able
थोड़ा
to
सा बैकग्राउंड
understand
करके देखा जाए तो हमें क्या क्या सीखना
and
है। एक तो
learn
हमें अर्च विग्रह की
and follow the instructions of the bona fide spiritual master. So, first of all, from acharyas we have learned we should have a deity and we should serve them, and we should not buy them, but we should get it from our spiritual master. Shaligram Shila also serving the Shaligram Shila also is not valid until unless it has been provided by a bona fide spiritual master or a elevated devotee of the Lord, a true Vaishnav. Moreover, we should have that qualification to serve the Lord. Once we are qualified, then automatically the bona fide spiritual master will give us the responsibility according to our qualification. So, the service of the Lord should be done under the guidance and shelter of bona fide spiritual master. So, these acharyas or goswamis never kept their desire as the primeval desire to act upon it. In the heart of the acharyas, they had quite a few desires, but they controlled their desires and they subdued their senses and they matched and made their bona fide spiritual masters instruction as their own desire, and they followed it till the end. That is what we should learn from them. Fourthly, all these acharyas made the ultimate destination, Vrindavan, as their ultimate destination. So we all should have this mellow that we should try to stay in Vrindavan towards the end of our life. Fifthly, their life was filled with detachment and simplicity. They lived their lives with so much austerity that, but the thoughts they had were excellent and topmost. And although they were detached from the material existence, and even if they had so much distress or disturbance, but yet they never forget to be charitable towards others. In Bhagvat Gita, Krishna tells to Arjuna that, however, even if someone becomes the highest devotee, then still they should never leave three things, that is charity. So charity means paropkar, to me help others. So it can be the charity of Bhagvat Gita, Bhagvatam, Katha, etc. So this is how we should learn from acharyas. So the rest two shlokas of the Shad Goswami Ashtakam are remaining. So let's read them. So very beautifully it's described that what Shad Goswamis used to do while staying in Vrindavan.
तीरेच वंशी वटे प्रेमोन्माद वशाद शेष दशया ग्रस्तो प्रमत्तो सदा। क्या करते? बोले राधा कुंड के तट में एक।
So firstly, on the banks of Radha Kund, And secondly, so the daughter of Kalindi, that is Yamuna river, and on the banks of Vanshivat. So on the banks of Radhakund or Yamuna river or Vanshivat, and their condition was that they were filled with love towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And because of this ecstasy of love, they were getting distressed because they were feeling the mellow of separation with Krishna, and they were untangled in the love of the Lord and were entangled in the mellow of separation towards the Lord. This word is very important here. So, when we listen to the 10th canto of Bhagvatam and we listen to the mellow of separation of the damsels of Raja, then we say that we also will f- do the mood of the gopis or damsels of Raja, but we cannot hold this mellow of separation. We- but we should practice our devotional service in such a way that we should feel and we should get caught with that mellow of separation. So if a boy loves a girl and if we ask him that on which day or what time did you fell in love with the girl, so it's not that it cannot be told the exact time, as the love is not predictable and it happens on its own. So similarly, if someone wants to have the mellow of separation, it cannot be achieved on our own. But if we do the pure devotional service of the Lord with merit and qualification, we will be able to feel the mellows of separation with the Lord. So our Goswamis were already entangled in the mood of separation with the Lord, and they were filled with the Lord's love in their hearts. And that was the reason that they used to constantly sing the glories of the Lord, and they used to be fulfilled or overwhelmed with the love towards the Lord. And to such acharyas, I bow down at the lotus feet of these acharyas. So, what you have heard so far in this verse is their external situation. But now let's understand what was their internal condition when they were in Braj Vrindavan. When we go to Braj Vrindavan, our internal feelings are that, oh, whether we will get the food on time, whether we will be able to sleep properly, etc. But for Shat Goswamis, what was the internal position? They had only they had only one thought, and they used to roam here and there in search of Radhika Mai, Braj Devike, and Lalita, and they used to ask, "Where are you?" And they used to ask, "Are you in the tree, under the tree of Giri Govardhan, or are you in the forest of the banks of Yamuna?" So, day and night, they used to circumambulate Braj, Vrindavan in search of the Lord Radharani, Lalita, and the eternal associates of the Lord. In this manner, they were burning and they used to chant the holy names. And as they were not able to find Radha and Krishna, they used to get distressed and they used to constantly roam in search of Radha and Krishna. So, in short, we have finished the interpretation of the Shad Goswami Ashtakam.
इस षड गोस्वामी अष्टकम में किया गया। हमने षड गोस्वामी में से 5 गोस्वामी की जीवनी
So far, we have heard the pastimes of the 5 Goswamis. So now let's listen to the glories of the 6th Goswami, who is the youngest of them all, and the Jeev Goswami, who went to the eternal abode of the Lord in the last. So that is why he is very near to us, and there are quite a few things in Vrindavan that belong to Jeev Goswami. So Jeev Goswami is introduced in this verse in front of your screen.
Pandita Shriman Jivaha श्रीवल्लभात्मजः। ये केवल एक ही लाइन जीव गोस्वामी की है, दूसरी लाइन तो वाणीनाथ जी के लिए है। तो केवल एक लाइन में
the first line is only introduction of Jeev Goswami by Kavi Karnapur. So he says that who is Jeev Goswami? He says that the Vilas Manjari, who is very near to Roop Manjari, etc., is Jeev Goswami. So it's mentioned that his nature is Sushil. Sushil means that who has a beautiful nature, a behavior. So in the nature, Swabhav, it covers everything. He was humble, and how to speak in which tone with others, like according to the age group, whether if there's somebody is senior or of the same age group or who is junior to us. So that all comes in the behavior. So that is Sheel. So if someone has a beautiful nature, then 90% of the qualities are manifest in itself. Sometimes people keep their name as Sushil Bhai, but they don't have any quality. So a person who gets angry or upset cannot be called Sushil. So whatever situation he used to face, but he never used to get angry. And the second word here is called Pandit. So when we hear about the Pandit, we think about the materialist Pandit. Actually, the meaning of Pandit has dissolved a lot, but Pandit means someone who is an expert or who is intelligent is referred to as a Pandita. So he was a Pandit and he was a Shriman. Shri means austerity, intelligence. So he is filled with the opulences, and he is Jiva Goswami. And who is he? So he is Sri Vallabh Atmaja. So he is the son of Vallabha. So who is this Vallabha? I gave the hint on the first day of the Katha that Amar, Amar had 3 sons, and I told you that that Kumardev Brahman had 3 sons, Roop, Sanatan, and Anupam. So, so some people say that he was their cousin, or some say that he was their real brother. So that Anupam is the same person with the name Vallabh. So he was the youngest son or brother of Rup and Sanatan Goswami, and Jeev Goswami is the son of this Vallabh. So that means that he is the nephew of Rup and Sanatan Goswami. So let's listen a little about the father of Jeev Goswami. So Anupam or the Vallabh Dev was the devotee of Lord Rama. So Rup and Sanatan were the devotees of Lord Sri Krishna, but Anupam was a staunch devotee of Lord Sri Ram. One day, Rup and Sanatan Goswami told Anupam that we both listen and write about Sri Krishna. Our every desire and every service is centered around Krishna, but you concentrate yourself on Ram. But if you also pray or bring Krishna to your center, then we all can collectively do so much together. So Anupam got obligated, and to satisfy them, he obliged. So they said that we will give you initiation. So Rup and Sanatan gave them initiation as well. But on the same fateful night, he could not sleep at all. He was thinking that I have already surrendered myself to Lord Raghunath, and now I have left Lord Raghunath and have started serving Lord Sri Krishna. So this I have done a great offense towards Lord Raghunath, and he couldn't sleep at all, and he cried whole night, and in the morning he told Rup and Sanatan Goswami the same. So they said that don't worry, we were just trying to take a test that how much faith or surrender you have towards the Lord. So we are very much satisfied that you are serving Lord Sri Ram, and in that manner Anupam or Vallabha got the service of Lord Sri Ram. So, so Jiva Goswami is the son of this Sri Vallabh. He was born in 1568. And if we see this today, it's 2021. So if according to the Georgian calendar, it will be considered as 1511. But according to Hindi calendar, it's 1568. So he was born in Ramkeli, the same Ramkeli village. Do you remember or do you recollect? So we have heard a lot about Ramkeli. So Amar or Santosh, who were Rup and Sanatan later. So these three brothers, Amar, Santosh, and Anupam, used to live in Ramkeli. So let me remind you that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was going and he changed his course. He changed his course and came to Ramkeli to deliver Rup and Sanatan Goswami. And the time when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met these, at that time Jiva Goswami was 3 years old and his, his mother bought him to the place where the initiation of Rupa and Sanatan was going on, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing. So there is a proof of this.
यूं तो चैतन्य महाप्रभु रूप और सनातन को आशीर्वाद और उनके साथ चर्चा कर रहे थे।
Although Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was discussing the scriptures with Rupa and Sanatan, but the mother of Jiva Goswami was standing and she had a desire to get the blessings of Lord Chaitanya for her son. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was looking towards this child, Jiva Goswami, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu blessed this child. This 3-year-old child was kept at the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by his mother. And actually he was not named, and Jeev means living entity. So at that time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that this Jeev or this living entity, this child, will take the responsibility of taking the disciplic succession of the disciplic succession forward. So people didn't took it seriously. He said that he will take the responsibility of the Gaudiya tradition, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's speech came to action. Since 3-year-old Jiva Goswami got an opportunity to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and after that he never had a chance to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but still he was named as the 6th Goswami, which is considered as the topmost of the Goswamis. So sometimes people say that we have taken the initiation from our bona fide spiritual master, but we are not able to serve them or able to meet them. So we should take a reference from here that Jiva Goswami met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu only once, and yet he became the favorite of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he surrendered a lot and he provided the society with so much. So, to meet the Guru Maharaj and serve on the bodily platform is not that important, but to follow the instruction of the Lord, that is far more important. So, we will also listen that if Jiva Goswami wanted, he could have met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but he couldn't meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu somehow, but yet he followed the instruction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And on one hand, he was growing up, and you've heard the Katha that after meeting Rup and Sanatan Goswami, they got detached with the material entanglements of the world and they left for Vrindavan. And when they left for Vrindavan, then they the, they took with them their youngest son, brother Vallabh or Anupam, to Vrindavan. And when they were coming back to Jagannath Puri, from Jagannath Puri, so on the banks of Varanasi, the father of Jiva Goswami, Sri Vallabh, left for his eternal abode. So, although they all were from the kingly family, they were quite affluent and opulent. And nowadays, if someone from a big opulent family dies, then he leaves so much wealth or opulence for their children as inheritance. So, but his uncles and father have left only 3 things. He got pure devotional service of the Lord, bhakti, detachment, that is vairagya, and intelligence, that is vidvata. These were the 3 things that he got in inheritance from his uncles and father. He was totally surrendered towards the Lord since his childhood. In Bhakti Ratnakar, it's mentioned about him. So I have searched a lot and found it. So let me share it with you in front of your screen.
Krishna Balarama Vina Kichoi na bhaya एकाकी वो दो है लैया निर्जने खिलाया। इनका बचपन कैसा था जीव गोस्वामी का?
So how was the childhood of Jiva Goswami? So he had 2 dolls. So he had 2 idols of Krishna and Balram. So nowadays kids carry a teddy bear, they sleep with him, carry it throughout. So, but Jiva Goswami used to carry Krishna and Balram with him. And he never used to like anything apart from them. And when he used to get food from his mother, so then he used to serve Krishna and Balram, and then only he used to eat himself. And when a child sleeps, the mother should sleep with him. But for Jiva Goswami, if his mother is present or not didn't matter to him, but he should have Krishna and Balram with him. And he used to embrace them and sleep. So, in this way, since childhood, he was surrendered and was devoted to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He had got all these qualities in inheritance from his family.
कृष्ण कथा
He was
जन्म कंस के कारागार में हुआ और फिर गोकुल लेकर गए
so
कृष्ण
much
ने पूतना को मारा गोवर्धन गिरी
engrossed
ये
in
सब
listening
कथा
to Krishna Katha
माँ सुनाती थी
that and
लेकिन
his mother
बचपन
used
में
to
ही अपनी
share
विद्वत्ता प्रस्तुत करती
these
थी
with
एक बार माँ कृष्ण लीला
from his
सुना रही
mother,
थी प्रसंग सुनिए
and it used to it
एक
presents
छोटे से जीव
his
गोस्वामी जब
intelligence.
5
So
7 साल
let's
के
share
होंगे
one
उन्होंने कहा
pastime that
माँ
he was 5 or 7 year
ये
old,
तुम कृष्ण कथा सुना रही हो ये
and
कौन से
he
युग की
asked
बात है
his
तो
mother
माँ
that
ने कहा
the
ये
Krishna
द्वापर
Katha
युग की
or
बात है
pastime that you're discussing is from which
नहीं नहीं माँ
yuga?
ये द्वापर युग की बात नहीं हो सकती
So she said that it
मुझे
is from
ऐसा लगता
Dwapar
है कि
Yuga.
ये सतयुग की बात है
So
माँ कहती है
wha-
कैसे
he
तो
said that I
क्लियरली
don't
बोल रहा
think
है
that this is from Dwapar Yuga,
बोले
it is from Sat
देवकी
Yuga.
और
So
वसुदेव
the mother said
कंस के
that
कारागार
how
में थे
can you explain that? So he
तो
said that
भगवान की भक्ति कैसे करते थे
if when
कंस
Devaki
तो चैंटिंग तो करने नहीं देता होगा
and Vasudev
और
were in prison,
महल
then
में
how
घुसा
they
रखा है तो
used to
यज्ञ तो होता
pray
नहीं है
to
बोले
the
वो
Lord
भगवान का स्मरण
while they were
करते थे देवकी और वसुदेव कंस
imprisoned
के
by
कारागार में
Kansa.
हरि का
So
स्मरण करते थे
what they used to
माँ ने
do?
कहा
So the
तो
mother
ये
said that
छोटा
they
सा जीव क्या
used
कहते हैं
to
बोले स्मरण करना
chant
ये कौन से
or
युग की
remember
भक्ति है
the Lord of the
कृपया
remember the
करें
Lord.
प्रभु विष्णु
So
बोले स्मरण भक्ति तो
Jiva
सतयुग में होती थी
Goswami
ना
says that
तो ये
the
लीला सतयुग की है
what that
क्योंकि
this
सतयुग में स्मरण
remembering
होता
the
था
Lord
अब माँ के
was
दिमाग को भी घुमा देते थे बोले ये लीला
from
सतयुग की है
Satyuga. So that is why this pastime
और
is
उसके
from
बाद वही
Satyuga.
बच्चा आता था
So
बोले
he
माँ कुछ
confused his
डाउट
mother
हो
as
रहा
well.
है बोले क्या
So after 5 minutes he came again
बोले
and said that
सतयुग
there
की
is
लीला
one
नहीं
doubt.
तुमने ये जो कृष्ण लीला
That
सुनाई ना
he said
ये
that
त्रेता
the
युग की
Krishna
लीला है
Leela, a
बोले
pastime that you
बेटा
have
बोल
shared,
रहा है
is
तो
not
त्रेता युग का
from
क्यों
Satyuga, it is from
बोले
Treta
माँ
Yuga.
मैंने आज सुना
So the
है
mother said that how you
कि
can
हर
explain that.
दिवाली के
He
दिन
said that on every
सारे
today you have
ब्रजवासी
said that
मिलकर
on
इंद्र के लिए
every
यज्ञ करते
Diwali
थे
they
इंद्र के लिए
used to perform sacrifice
और
for
कभी
Lord
रेगुलर
Indra,
भी करते थे ऐसा नहीं
and
आज
they
क्या
used to do
करते
it regularly.
तो
It's not that
ब्रजवासी
they will
आज
miss
आपने ही मुझे
some
सुनाया
year.
कि हर दिवाली के दिन इंद्र याग यज्ञ करते थे
So
तो
you
माँ
just
को ये
now
बता
told that
यज्ञ
they used
करना
to
ये
do
कौन से युग का साधन
sacrifice
है किस युग में यज्ञ
for
किया
Lord Indra.
बोले
So
त्रेता युग
the
में तो श्री
sacrifice
कृष्ण लीला त्रेता
was the
युग की है
principle in which yuga?
मतलब
That
त्रेता
was
युग
in
की
Treta
है
Yuga. So this
ठीक है
katha or
बेटा हाँ
pastime is
देखो
from
देखो
Treta
लिख लो
Yuga.
ठीक है
So
त्रेता युग की
mother used to
फिर 5 मिनट
agree.
बाद
What
आता
else
है
she can say?
बोले माँ रुको रुको रुको
So after
त्रेता
five
युग नहीं
minutes he came again and said
मुझे
that no,
लगता
no,
है
this
कि
is not
कृष्ण
Treta
लीला
Yuga.
कलयुग की है
This is from Kali Yuga.
जीव गोस्वामी ये देखो
So Jiva
बचपन में ही ये
Goswami.
सब विद्वत्ता आगे चल के
So
तो तोड़
this
दिया
is how
षड संदर
intelligent he was,
अद्भुत रचना इनकी
and he have written tremendous
वेद व्यास
scriptures.
जितना मैं तो कहूंगा वेद व्यास से भी अधिक एफर्ट
He had
हमारे
put
जीव गोस्वामी जी ने
even more efforts
भक्ति
than
सिद्धांत
Ved
को
Vyas.
उजागर करने के लिए
He has revealed the
वेद व्यास मुनि
principles
के
of
अपने
pure
अपने
devotional
जीवित
service towards
यद्यपि
the
भगवान
Lord
है
Bhakti
भगवान
in
भी
his
अवतार है
books.
वेदव्यास मुनि ने अपने जीवन काल में 4 लाख श्लोक लिखे
Although Ved Vyas
उसके
Muni,
बाद जीव
who is the
गोस्वामी ने भी
manifestation
अपने
or
जीवन
form
में
of the
4 लाख
Lord,
श्लोक लिखे
but he wrote
मतलब वेद व्यास की कंपेयर तो नहीं हो सकती
it was
लेकिन
4
भगवान तो
lakh
भगवान
verses
है लेकिन ये जीव
as he
गोस्वामी ने
is the
अपने पूरे
Lord,
जीवन में
but
4 लाख श्लोक लिखे
even Jiva Goswami had written
हमारे वैष्णव
4 lakh
सिद्धांत को इन्होंने
verses,
धरती पर स्थापित किया
and he
सिद्धांत के माध्यम
established
से
the Vaishnava
खैर
philosophy on this earth.
लेकिन इनका बचपन कैसा था
So, but
पहले
how was his
सिद्ध
childhood?
किया कि कृष्ण लीला सतयुग की
So,
है
first he
फिर कहा
established
नहीं
that
त्रेता युग की है
Krishna
अब आए
Leela is
कृष्ण लीला
from Satyuga,
बदल
then
गई
Treta,
कलयुग की है
and
माँ ने
Dwapar,
कहा
and now
कैसे
he's saying that Kali, it's from
बोले
Kali
माँ
Yuga.
तुमने मुझे
So the
आगे नहीं
mother said
सुनाया
that how?
कंस के कारागार में
So
कृष्ण का जन्म हुआ
he said that
और
Krishna
फिर
was born
वसुदेव जी
in
गोकुल ले
the
गए
prison
और
and
कन्या को लेकर आ
Vasudev
गए फिर
took
गोकुल में नंद बाबा
Krishna to
यशोदा जब जगे तो
Gokul,
देखा लाला का जन्म हुआ है
and
और जब लाला का जन्म
Yashoda
हुआ
Mai
तो
and
उन्होंने क्या
Nand
किया
realized that they have got a son. And what did they
नंद
do
के
after that?
आनंद भयो कन्हैया लाल की जय, कन्हैया लाल की हो जय, कन्हैया लाल की। तो उन्होंने क्या किया? नंद के घेरा आनंद
What
भयो
did they do?
कीर्तन किया,
They started chanting the holy names of the Lord. So all the Brijvasis were chanting of the holy name. So chanting of the holy name is the principle of which yuga? It is for Kali Yuga.
तो बोले कलयुग की लीला है।
So this is the pastime of Kali Yuga.
कलयुग की तो कलयुग। फिर थोड़ी देर
So the mother agreed one more time, and he came back again after a few minutes, and he said that I don't think that this is from.
कृष्ण लीला द्वापर युग की ही लग रही है।
Finally, I think that this is from Dwapar Yuga because the huge deities and temples are served or the medium of serving the Lord in Dwapar Yuga. So, since childhood, he was intelligent.
लेकिन इस सिद्धांत को श्रीपाद जीव गोस्वामी ने अपने षड संदर्भ में स्थापित किया।
And he established this in Shad Sandarbha. He established that when the Lord manifests in this material world, then all the four yugas come together. And to welcome the Lord, all the four yugas come together. And that is why when Krishna manifested, all the four principles of the yugas were being performed. So, in this manner, since childhood, he was so intelligent. So, in Bhakti Ratnagar, it's mentioned,
काल श्री जीवेर बुद्धि चमत्कार व्याकरण यदि शास्त्रे अति अधिकार। बहुत अल्प काल में ही इस बालक की बुद्धि का विकास हो गया।
So it's mentioned that in such a small fraction of time, his mind developed, and he was expert in grammar and scriptures, etc. And people used to say, that he's not an ordinary child. He is born from the path of some god or demigod. How can a child be so expert in scriptures and grammar so perfectly in such a short period of time? It's not possible. So he had intelligence and knowledge, and apart from that, he had pure devotional service of the Lord, that is bhakti. So one day he was studying, and one time he went to in front of Lord Balram and Krishna and started crying. It's mentioned,
के लिए कृष्ण कथा, कृष्ण भाव, कृष्ण।
So they were permanently, he was permanently fixed in his pure devotional service towards the Lord. One day he went in seclusion, and he was filled with the mellow of separation, and he was crying in remembrance of Krishna. So one, and it so happened that Balram and Krishna manifested that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda, and they started dancing in front of Jiva Goswami, and they were changing the forms of from Krishna to Balram to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda and vice versa. and he got the desire that I should meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So at the time when he became 16-year-old, he had that this burning desire to meet Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. After finishing his education, he went to Navadvip to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So when they reached there, people could make out that he is the nephew of Sanatan or Rup Goswami. So Nityanand Prabhu was Jagannath Puri, and they both met and they started crying. And Nityanand Prabhu saw that he is a qualified, purified devotee of the Lord. So, so in this universe, the first thing is the Gaur Mandal Parikrama was done by Jeev Goswami under the guidance of Lord Nityananda. So all the places where Lord Chaitanya did his pastimes on the 9 islands, that was circumvallated by Jeev Goswami under the guidance of Nityanand, and he explained everything to him. And it was later translated by Bhaktivinoda Thakur in later stages. So for many days he stayed with Sri G. Goswami, stayed there. So now he had a desire that I have met you, but I want to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and I want to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri. So Nityanand Prabhu was in Mayapur, so it's not far. Nityanand Prabhu said, could have said that yes, you can go and meet. But what did he say? It's mentioned here.
Prabhu kahe shigra braje karah prayana tomar vansh prabhu diya छिन से स्थान तोमार वंश प्रभु दिया छिन से स्थान। नित्यानंद प्रभु ने कहा कि जीव
Nityanand Prabhu said that Jeev Goswami, you cannot go to Jagannath Puri. And so if you say that I want to go to Vrindavan, and the bona fide spiritual master says that no, you should not go, then we will leave our bona fide spiritual master. But Jeev Goswami followed. Sometimes we are unable to understand the instruction of our bona fide spiritual master, but it has long lasting effect. So Nityanand Prabhu told Jeev Goswami that you should immediately leave for Braj. Why? Because your family has been instructed to stay in Vrindavan and serve Vrindavan. So Jeev Goswami didn't feel bad. He didn't even rejected Nityanand Prabhu. This was the last opportunity for him to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But still, he left this opportunity. And as Nityanand Prabhu has given him education and instruction, so he left for Vrindavan. And Nityanand Prabhu had told that don't go to Vrindavan directly, but cross Kashi and then you go. So still there is some education that you need to get. So you should go there and meet the disciple of Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya. As Nityanand Prabhu was quite aware that he is very intelligent. So instead of going to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he went to Kashi, Varanasi, and there he understood the Vedic injunctions on law from Madhusudan, the disciple of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and he became an expert in theatrical singing, etc. He was an all-rounder. He was expert in all the field. He was excellent in theatrics, and he taught so many others the theatrics. So when he reached Kashi and he took education, the intelligent Vaishnavas of Kashi became mesmerized and amazed by Jiva Goswami. Kashi is considered as the land of intelligentsia, and usually an intelligent person never praises other intelligent person. An intelligent person is even not capable to love. If you meet somebody who is intelligent, even if I tell so many jokes and deep meaning of the katha, but still they will not express any emotion. And they just sit in a corner. So, but Jiva Goswami is exceptional, as he was praised and he mesmerized the intelligentsia of Kashi. And from there, then he departed towards Vrindavan. He came to Vrindavan and he got the initiation from Rupa Goswami. And at that point of time, Rupa Goswami was writing Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, etc. And he started serving him. And Rupa Goswami gave him the responsibility to clean his room, although he was so much intelligent. So at that time, there was no ready-made ink. They used to make a paste from the leaves and they used to use it as the ink. And Jeev used to do the menial jobs for Rup Goswami. And yet, so Jeev Goswami never questioned that I am underutilized, that I am capable of preaching, etc. But you have kept me underutilized, so, and I should leave them. He didn't thought or gave such a thought in his mind. But he was given this opportunity because Rup Goswami wanted Jeev Goswami to succeed. So he was doing the menial jobs for Rup Goswami. And while he was staying there, a situation arose. We will discuss it after a short break.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So thank you very much, Suji. बहुत ही सुंदर यहाँ पर श्रील जीव गोस्वामी की जीवनी के विषय में हम प्रभु जी के मुखारविंद से श्रवण कर रहे हैं. एंड जो सर्वप्रथम हमने प्रभु जी के मुखारविंद से श्रवण किया आज की कथा के माध्यम से, दैट इज कि हम जो आचार्य की कथाएं श्रवण कर रहे हैं उनके जीवन से हमें क्या सीखना चाहिए, यू नो. सो जैसे प्रभु जी ने बताया ना कि देयर आर 3 टाइप्स ऑफ पीपल ऑलवेज. श्रील प्रभुपाद ऑफन कोट्स दिस दैट एक होता है वह व्यक्ति, बुद्धिमान व्यक्ति वो होता है जो दूसरे के अनुभव से सीखता है, और दूसरा उससे सेकंड कैटेगरी में आता है दैट ही हिमसेल्फ एक्सपीरियंस एंड देन ही लर्न्स फ्रॉम हिज मिस्टेक्स. और जो बुद्धिमान होता है वो दूसरों की गलतियों से सीख लेता है. परंतु जो थर्ड कैटेगरी होती है वो देखता है, समझता है, अनुभव करता है, परंतु फिर भी उसको समझता नहीं है, फिर इम्प्रूव नहीं करता है. सो देयर आर वेरियस काइंड ऑफ डिवोटीज, और हमें विशेष हमारे इन आचार्यों से क्या सीखना है, उनसे, उनकी जीवनी से हमें क्या सीखना चाहिए. तो दैट प्रभु जी मेंशन दैट फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल जो विग्रह के विषय में प्रभु जी ने बताया किस प्रकार हमारे जो आचार्य हैं इनको अपने गुरु से या भगवान श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु से डायरेक्ट इन विग्रहों की प्राप्ति हुई है. तो इस प्रकार विग्रहों की सेवा करना. एंड देन then there is one more thing which is जो मनमानी है वो नहीं करनी चाहिए, क्योंकि हमें अच्छा लगता है. that doesn't mean that we should follow that. तो और साथ ही साथ simple living and high thinking. So we know that these acharyas were they were highly qualified and in the highest position, but since they are in the braj, जब से वो ब्रज में आए तो उनका जीवन एकदम सरल हो गया और उच्च प्रिंसिपल को जीते थे. So we should always have in mind that whenever we go into braj, हमारी जो पोजीशन है बाहर, ब्रज के बाहर, that may be anything, but when we enter into braj, तो हमारी जो स्थिति है हमको सरल जीवन में और उच्च विचार के साथ में रहना चाहिए. Just like it is mentioned in SadGoswami Astakam that जब ये गोस्वामी ब्रिज में एंटर हुए, and then what was their consciousness? They were searching for Hey Radhe, Braj Devi ke, they were always in search of Krishna and Radharani and all. तो जब हम ब्रज में एंटर करते हैं तो हमारी भी मानसिकता हमें इस प्रकार कल्टीवेट करनी चाहिए. We should not find the place where I'll get the best pizza, where I'll get the best stay and all. So this is what this is how our Acharya teaches कि हमें किस प्रकार ब्रज में जब जाएं तो हमें एटिकेट को उस प्रकार से फॉलो करने चाहिए. तो वेरी वंडरफुली प्रभु जी एक्सप्लेन सो मेनी थिंग्स यहाँ पर. एंड देन ऑल्सो वी शुड ऑलवेज हैव परोपकार की भावना होनी चाहिए कि जब भी हम ब्रज में जाएं तो जस्ट लाइक प्रभु जी मेंशंस कि this acharya, they were having actually nothing. They were जो उनका जो material opulence थे, they left at their own place, और फिर उसके बाद जब ब्रज में आए तो they were very simple. But फिर भी उनके अंदर जो परोपकार की भावना थी, जो ब्राह्मण के जो लक्षण होने, जैसे भगवान ने बताया कि दान, कर्म, यज्ञ, ये कभी उनको त्यागना नहीं चाहिए. तो इसी प्रकार जो परोपकार की भावना है, like giving scriptures to others, so they were that was there in their heart. And then उनकी आंतरिक स्थिति जो ब्रज में थी, that was remarkable. And then जी गोस्वामी का जो बचपन प्रभु जी ने हमें अभी श्रवण कराया है, किस प्रकार उनको बचपन से ही विग्रह के साथ खेलना, उनके साथ में आदान प्रदान करना, that was gifted to him since the birth. तो and so many scripture श्रील गोस्वामी wrote, and जैसे प्रभु जी ने मेंशन किया कि 4 लाख श्लोकों का उन्होंने लिखा, सबसे ज्यादा, सबसे अधिक, और इतने विद्वान होते हुए भी how humble he was, that what a humbleness इनके अंदर थी, that he was working under Srila Rupa Goswami and just sweeping his room and all, cleaning and everything. So this is what our परंपरा is. जो हमारी परंपरा में तो ये अक्सर बताता है कि नम्रता प्रधान है. तो व्यक्ति कितने ही उच्च पद पर हो, उनकी सेवा कितनी भी क्यों न हो, तो हमेशा वह नम्रता के स्थान पर रहता है, उनके हृदय में नम्रता से भरा रहता है. तो बहुत सारे भक्त हैं हमारे इस्कॉन में, मंदिर में. एक I just recollect one story. One of the stalwart devotee, he is now a sannyasi. His name is Bhakti Rasamrita Swami Maharaj. So few years ago, he was a president of Iskcon Vrindavan. Many years ago, he was a president. And then ब्रज में तो बहुत सारे चोर वगैरह भी आते थे, तो वृंदावन में भी ये थोड़ा तकलीफ थी. तो उस समय में तो व्हाट हैपन वाज, श्रीला जो महाराज जी थे, उनको ही वाज अ प्रेसिडेंट, बट ही वाज देयर स्टैंडिंग इन द चप्पल की सेवा में. वो खड़े थे, लोगों के चप्पल लेते जो भी दर्शन करने आते थे, एंड देन ही वाज एक्सेप्टिंग दोस, उनके चप्पल लेकर उनको रखना स्थान पर. तो जिस प्रकार ये जो जब चोर लोग को पता चला कि that he is a temple president and he is doing this menial work, menial seva, so they had this inquisitiveness that how a person can be so humble he is so highly educated, and तो उनको अप्रोच किया, and then महाराज जी convinced his position, और हमारी जो परंपरा है उनको वर्णन किया, and then the चोर जो सारे जो आए थे मतलब परेशान करने के लिए, they converted into devotees. So this is जैसे प्रभु जी बता रहे हैं, हम्बलनेस के द्वारा ही लोगों का जीवन परिवर्तन होता है. So thank you very much once again. We'll have a darshan, our Go Matas, and then we'll get back to Prabhuji to hear more about Srila Goswami. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So once more, एक बार फिर से हम हमारे साथ में श्री राधा गोविंद गोस्वामी की जो गौ माता है here to आप सबके लिए, और बहुत सुंदर दर्शन हम प्रतिदिन प्राप्त कर रहे हैं यहाँ पर. आज हमारी इस भागवत कथा का ये पूर्णाहुति दिन है, तो बहुत ही सुंदर यहाँ पर 6 दिन से जो हमारे भक्तगण सेवा कर रहे हैं उनके दर्शन हमें प्रतिदिन इस प्रकार भेजते हैं, और धन्यवाद करते हैं हमारे यजमान परिवार का जिन्होंने ये सेवा की है यहाँ पर, जिससे कि हम प्रतिदिन गौ माता की सेवा भी कर पा रहे हैं, उनके दर्शन भी कर पा रहे हैं, और ऐसे गोस्वामियों की, हमारे आचार्यों की कथा भी श्रवण करते हैं, कर पा रहे हैं. So we are very grateful to these wonderful families, especially Mehta families, the Devaruka families, and we are still praying for Deepa Mata to get well soon so that she can continue her wonderful services. And इस प्रकार जो माता जी हैं बहुत सुंदर सेवा करते रहते हैं और बड़ा सुंदर भाव है उनका, तो हम धन्यवाद करें, और साथ ही साथ निवेदन भी करें आप सभी वैष्णव से कि you also devotees can be a part of this गौ सेवा as well, क्योंकि यहाँ पर हम प्रतिदिन इस प्रकार गौ सेवा करते हैं, तो we request you also कि आप सब भी हमारे साथ में गौशाला में गौ सेवा हेतु जुड़िए, और आप हमारे साथ जुड़ सकते हैं इस नंबर के माध्यम से जो कि आप स्क्रीन पर प्राप्त कर रहे आएंगे. So 756-754-5555 is the number through which you can approach us for any such seva, or sevaperfect@gmail.com, where you can email us, and then perfectseva.com, where you can visit our website and go see the activities. So आप सभी से निवेदन है कि आप हमारे साथ में जुड़िएगा, और साथ ही साथ हम यहाँ पर भगवद गीता मैराथन भी सेलिब्रेट कर रहे हैं, तो आप सभी व्यक्तियों से भी निवेदन है कि आप भी जैसे हमारे आचार्यों ने उनके पास इतना कुछ था, वो सारा चीजें उन्हें त्याग दी, और उन्होंने ये परोपकार की भावना उनके मन में थी, तो ग्रंथों को लिखना, ग्रंथों को वितरण करना, they continue to do so. So it is our also, हम लोगों ने तो अभी भी कुछ नहीं त्यागा है, we are still at our place, enjoying the things, enjoying the kathas, and तो हमारा कर्तव्य बनता है कि हम सब चीज में रहते हैं, तो हमें एटलीस्ट हमारे आचार्यों से ये, जैसे प्रभु जी ने बताया ना कि सीखना चाहिए, तो ये परोपकार की भावना है, लोगों को ग्रंथ देना, उनके जीवन को परिवर्तन करना, तो उनके जीवन को तो भगवान ही परिवर्तन करेंगे वंस दिस ब्यूटीफुल ये जो भगवत गीता है, ऐसे ग्रंथ उनके पास जाते हैं. तो बहुत सारे ऐसे उदाहरण भी है हमारे इस्कॉन में, जो भक्त प्राय गीता का वितरण करते रहे, इस प्रकार पुस्तक का वितरण करते हैं, उन्होंने अपने जीवन के अनेक अनेक रियलाइजेशन शेयर किए हैं कि किस प्रकार ये जो ग्रंथ है उनके पास जाते ही आज नहीं तो कल, परंतु उनके जीवन में जो परिवर्तन आ रहे हैं वो श्रवण करने को मिला है. So there are wonderful stories for that too, which we'll hear in coming days as well. तो आप सभी व्यक्तियों से निवेदन है कि आप जरूर इस प्रकार भगवद गीता मैराथन में पार्टिसिपेट करिए, और विशेष भगवान की कृपा के सहभागी बने. साथ ही साथ सबसे निवेदन है अपने जो सर्कल है वहां पर वितरण करें भगवद गीता, अन्यथा आप हमारे साथ में भी जुड़ सकते हैं गीता वितरण के हेतु. तो for that you can approach us on 756-754-5555 as well, and then +201-215-0913. In both the numbers you can approach us for any such sevas. So बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. और साथ ही साथ जो आने वाली भगवत कथा हम श्रवण करने वाले हैं, that is from our परमार फैमिली, और आने वाली 15 तारीख से लेकर 21 तारीख दिसंबर महीने में हम श्रवण करेंगे, और शाम को 7:30 से 10:30 बजे इस भागवत कथा का समय रहेगा इंडिया के समय के अनुसार, और सुबह 9 बजे से लेकर 12:30 बजे अमेरिका के दोपहर के समय तक रहेगा. तो आप सब भक्त इसमें आमंत्रित है, और विशेष आप सभी भक्तों से निवेदन करें, क्योंकि कथा का अंतिम समय चल रहा है, how we are just near about concluding this Bhagavad Katha. So there are so many devotees who wants to express their gratitude, so that for that we welcome there. और उनकी जो भाव है हम उनको स्वागत करते हैं. आप हमें अपना नाम दे सकते हैं जिससे कि हम आपको आमंत्रित कर सके यहाँ पर अपने भाव को प्रस्तुत करने के लिए. So anyways, we'll continue with the Bhagavad Gita right now and we'll meet soon. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. इस प्रकार श्रीपाद जीव गोस्वामी श्री वृंदावन धाम में
So in this manner, Shripad Jiva Goswami started living in Vrindavan under the shelter or guidance of Rupa Goswami and started serving him. There is a very beautiful situation arose in his pastime that brings a great principle to us. So one time, a intelligent Brahmana who was expert in so he was an intelligent person expert in Vedic injunctions, and he used to argue the principles with people and has defeated quite a few people. And when he heard that Rup Goswami is very intelligent and renowned, so he came to Vrindavan and he said that, why don't you discuss and the principles of the Vedic injunctions and win from me? So you might be aware that in Narad Bhakti Sutra, Narad Rishi or Muni has written that the highly elevated or pure devotees of the Lord, they never argue or waste their time in argument. So Rup Goswami told him that, first of all, that you are very intelligent and you might be expert, but if someone had told you that I am an expert or intelligent, then you might have been misinformed. There is nobody who is a greater fool or ignorant as me. So how can I compare with you? So this person who has came to win over everyone in this world, so he said that can you notify or certify that you lose? And he used to collect certificates from the people. And Rup Goswami wrote that I got defeated, and he put down his signature and gave it to him. And this guy, he left. And so Rup Goswami was filled with humility while Jiva Goswami was feeling water. So he didn't like it at all. And that my bona fide spiritual master is being insulted like that. So he gave an excuse that I want to take a bath and took the permission of Rup Goswami and went away. So Jiva Goswami started running and he searched for this guy and told him to stop. He said that you are not capable of defeating my spiritual master. First, you should try to win over me. So my spiritual master is very humble. He's filled with humility and he accepts everything. But that doesn't mean that you can take an advantage of his humility and insult him in such a manner. So you don't understand the humility. So you come down from the elephant and let's discuss or argue the Shastras or scriptures. So first, you should defeat me. So this guy, he thought that already the master has been defeated. So what about the disciple? It won't be difficult. So they just sat there for half an hour arguing on the philosophy. So Jeev Goswami presented so much philosophical principles that this guy was overwhelmed and filled with shame, and he accepted that, yeah, I defeat. So Jeev Goswami said that now you tore that certificate and don't put your feet again in Vrindavan, and never you dare to talk with my bona fide spiritual master in such a manner. So Jeev Goswami took the bath and he came back. And Rup Goswami said, did you took the bath? And he said that, yeah. So he started his daily activities as usual. But after a few days, there was a second situation. Rup Goswami was very serious at that point of time as he was writing Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu or Nectar of Devotion, that is the foundation of our disciplic succession. And at that point of time, a highly qualified Vaishnava who had met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who heard, who have heard that one of the disciple of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in Vrindavan, he came to meet him, and Rup Goswami stood up to welcome him as he was of the time or era of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this Vaishnava, he asked Rup Goswami, what are you writing? Rup Goswami said that I am writing Nectar of Devotion. I am trying to write. I am not qualified, but I am trying. So he said that, can you show what you're writing? So he started reading and he said that everything is okay, but one of the words here is, I don't think fits here. So this this is the nature of elders. They always try to find errors in their younger ones, otherwise they won't be respected as elders. So what was the fault he had found? It's mentioned here. So let's try to understand this verse and then later we will discuss further.
भुक्ति मुक्ति स्पृहा यावत् पिशाची हृदि वर्तते तावत् भक्ति सुख स्यात्र कथम अभ्युदयो भवे। अब रूप गोस्वामी ने ओरिजिनली भक्ति रसामृत सिंधु में ये श्लोक लिखा।
Rup Goswami originally has written this verse in Nectar of Devotion. What does it mean? So this shlok is very important. Please try to understand. So bhukti means the desire to enjoy our senses in this material world. So that is called bhukti. So this is the first. So second is mukti. So mukti, you all understand, liberation. So it means that the 5 types of liberation, so that is being discussed here. So he said that the desire to have sense gratification and the desire to get liberated. So till the point we have these two desires in our heart, so till then, yavat means till then, till that time, we won't be able to enjoy the pure devotional service of the Lord. So we won't be able to enjoy the bliss of performing the pure devotional service of the Lord until and unless we are entangled or we have the desire to enjoy the material world or to have liberation. So why has he written that? So he has given an example which is very powerful. So he mentions that to desire in to have to enjoy sense gratification or to have liberation is a demonic quality.
पिशाची के समान है, डाकण के समान है। अब शहरों में तो ऐसा नहीं होता।
So in cities it doesn't happen, but in villages you might have heard that if somebody is influenced by the demonic nature, it's nighttime in India. Don't get scared. It's not a horror movie, but sometimes it happens.
सफेद साड़ी, पता नहीं ये फिल्म वाले कहाँ से देखकर आए हैं, सफेद साड़ी, बिखरे हुए बाल।
I don't know how Bollywood has imagined about the demonic nature that wearing in white sari, etc.
आपने देखा हो, गांव में सत्य भी है।
And it's true in villages, a person who is influenced by demonic nature, it's mentioned that it gets affected that this demonic person sucks the blood out of that person, and whatever he might eat, he will not get influenced or he will not get the nourishment that he wants. So till the time we are influenced by this demonic nature of having desires, then the pure devotional service becomes futile. As in the example, a person who is under the influence of demonic nature, whatever food he takes, but he will not get the nourishment. So similar manner, these two desires takes all the fruit of our pure devotional service towards the Lord. So if you want to have pure devotional service of the Lord, then you should leave these two desires. So Rup Goswami has written this very carefully with clear understanding, but the senior Vaishnava who has arrived, he didn't like it at all. He said that how that you mentioned carnal desire as demonic, that is understandable, but how can you say that liberation is of demonic nature or it's a demon? So he said that this is not right. So he said that you should remove this verse from this book. So although he was not his bona fide spiritual master or anything, but yet as he was a senior, he was telling all these things. So Rup Goswami was so humble that he said that okay, I will remove this verse. So the senior Vaishnava or Acharya got satisfied and he left. So this time Jeev Goswami was cleaning the home and wiping the floors, and he didn't like this at all. He said that my guru or bona fide spiritual master has written such a deep philosophical point, and this Acharya wants him to remove this. So when he was leaving, Rup Goswami instructed Jeev Goswami that you go and just take him towards the banks of Yamuna. So Jeev Goswami was taking him along with him, and by the time they were on the border of Vrindavan, he asked Jiva Goswami that you were discussing something with my spiritual master. So he said that, yeah, we were discussing that liberation is like a demonic quality. So he said that, can you discuss this with me? He said that my spiritual master is very humble. He might have removed this page, but how dare you humiliate or cross my master? Let me prove that my master is right. So they started discussing and arguing over the scriptures. So he was quite intelligent. His name was Kashi Nath. So he was very intelligent. But in 10 minutes, he proved that the verse that Rup Goswami has mentioned is perfect. So he was about to leave for his home, but he came back to Rup Goswami and told him that that this who is this guy who wipes the floors of your ashram or hut? So he said that he's my disciple. He said he is very amazing. He said that while he was taking me back, he proved that I am wrong, and he said that please forgive me. And he said that the the verse that I told you to remove, please don't remove it. That is the perfect philosophical principle that you have shared. So, if he was a bona fide spiritual master of this era, he would have been elated by hearing this. But we are from the disciplic succession of Gaudiya Sampradaya, where humility is the key principle. So, when Jiva Goswami came, Rup Goswami asked that, have you finished? So, Rup Goswami had never been angry or upset, but today he lost his temper. He told, "Oh fool, mood, you don't deserve to be a sannyasi. That were not able to control your anger. You still don't know how to defeat anger." A brahmana comes to me and he tells that I don't like this one, and I agree with him. And if he was established, and if I lost some respect, that doesn't that is not important. So you couldn't tolerate that a great acharya was given respect to me by me. So why did you had a problem with that? How couldn't you even tolerate this much? So now, from now on, I don't want to see your face. You don't deserve to stay in Vrindavan. So you should leave Vrindavan at once. So this is our disciplic succession of Brahma, Madhya, Gauri, Parampara or discipline. So I don't want to comment who is right or wrong here, because they both stand on the position. So a guru or a master should always safeguard that he should never get his desires get fulfilled through his disciples. And similarly, a disciple should always maintain the respect of the bona fide spiritual master. So Jiva Goswami, after getting this instruction, he left Vrindavan and started staying in a nearby village. And then, staying there, he used to write scriptures and serving Mahaprabhu. But because he was separated with his bona fide spiritual master, he was not interested in eating. And if somebody used to get
और कोई कच्चा आटा नहीं देता तो ये आचार्य जो हमारे साथ
so
बैठे हैं ये
he
जीव
used,
गोस्वामी राख होती है ना
whenever
राख
he
लकड़ी की
was
राख वो
given
पानी में
some
घोल के
wheat flour, he used to not even make
और राख
chapati
बोलते
out of
हे
it. He used to
महाप्रभु
just
गुरु
mix
कृपा
water and drink it. And if in case he didn't even
ये
manage
कच्चा
to get
आटा
that
और
much
राख को
from
घोल कर देने
anyone,
से उनके पेट
then
में रोग हो गया
he would
उदरोषी रोग या जलोदर
drink
रोग हो गया
the burnt
ऐसा
coal,
रोग
and
पेट में
because
ऐसे
of that
इन्फेक्शन होता है
he
और एक दिन
got
आदमी मर जाता है
diseased. And by this
इस
disease,
प्रकार
a
जीवन
person will
तपस्यामय जीवन बिताया
die for sure. So he was
और दूसरी
living
ओर
his life
सनातन
with so
गोस्वामी
much
विचरण करते
austerity.
करते एक दिन
And
उसी
on
गांव
other
की तरफ
hand,
पहुंचे
Sanatan Goswami, while
और एक माता जी के घर पर भिक्षा
roaming here
देने गए
and
माता
there,
भिक्षाम देही
he
माता भिक्षा दीजिए
went to
ऐसे
the
तो
same
वो घर
village,
की जो माँ
and
थी ना
when
वो
he
हाथ
went to
गोबर
a
से
home
हाथ
and
रगड़े हुए थे
asked
और गोबर
for
लीप रही थी
wheat flour,
तो
and
कहा ठीक है
this
मैं आ रही
mother
हूँ
was
तो कुछ देर के बाद माता भिक्षाम
entangled in
देही
some work, so
गोबर लीप रही थी
she said that
माता
I'm
भिक्षाम
coming
देही
in, give me some
अब
time.
4-5 बार
And
सनातन गोस्वामी ने
Sanatan
कहा
Goswami
तो
4
उस
5
माता
times
के मुख से निकल
called.
गया ये कैसा साधु आदमी है
She said that
बिल्कुल
how,
घोड़े पे
what
चढ़ के
kind
आया
of
है
sadhu or
इससे तो
saint is
हमारे
he?
गांव का
He
साधु
is
अच्छा है
riding, he's
ये
in
कुछ
such a hurry.
मांगेगा नहीं
It's
और
better
यदि कुछ दे दिया तो
that we
आटे की
have a
थाली में
saint
तोड़ कर
in
पी
our
जाता
village.
है
So
और
he
यह उसके
doesn't
घर पर
ask
घोड़े
for
पर
any
चढ़कर आया
charity.
कैसा
And
साधु
if
है
someone gives him the
सनातन
wheat flour,
गोस्वामी ने ये
he
सोच
just
लिया
drinks it with water. When he heard this,
भिक्षा तो बाजू में रह गई
he
सनातन
thought,
गोस्वामी ने
he
कहा
forgot
कि
about the
माँ
begging. He said
तुम
that,
जिस साधु के बारे में
Mother,
मांग रही हो
can
वो
you tell
साधु
me
कौन है
who is that
हमसे
saint? I
कितना
want to
वैराग्य है
meet him,
आटा घोल
who
कर दे
is
जाता है
far more detached than even us.
बोले देखो यहाँ पर गांव के कुछ
So
सीमा
she
पर वो बैठे
directed
हैं जाओ जाकर मिलो
him towards
सनातन
Jiv
गोस्वामी
Goswami.
जब आए तो पता चला
And
ये तो
when
जीव गोस्वामी है
he
ये
saw
तुम्हारा
Jiv
भतीजा मतलब
Goswami,
उनका बेटा
he
भरत
said
का
that,
बेटा बोले
that
जीव बेटा
he
तुम
is
यहाँ
the
क्या
son
करते
of
हो
my younger brother.
बोले
Said,
मुझे
what you are
गुरुजी ने
doing here?
निकाल दिया
So he said that my
मैंने
bona
आचार्य
fide
के
spiritual
चरण के
master, my
सामने
guru,
कुछ हुआ
had
और इस गलती के चलते गुरुजी ने निकाल दिया सनातन ने कहा
removed me
चल
from
मेरे साथ
Vrindavan.
चल अब सनातन गोस्वामी
And
जीव गोस्वामी को लेकर
Sanatan
आए वृंदावन
Goswami said, you
बोले
come along with me. And Jiv
बड़े
Goswami
भाई भी
brought
थे वरिष्ठ भी थे बोले
Jiv
फिर
Goswami with him to
बोले जीव को
Vrindavan.
क्या दंड दिया
And
कोई
Sanatan
अपने
Goswami was
शिष्य
the
को गलती से
eldest.
निकाल देता
So
है
Rup,
रूप
he
गोस्वामी कहते
told
थे
Rup
नंबर
Goswami
वन
that,
नहीं है ये किसी
how
गरीब के
come
सत्कार
you
सहन नहीं
can
करता
remove your disciple like
सनातन
that?
गोस्वामी ने कहा
So he
बोलो
said that he doesn't have, he
चैतन्य
lacks
महाप्रभु की
humility.
क्या आज्ञा है
He said that
जीवे
what was the
दया नाम
instruction
जी
of
वैष्णव
Jiv
सेवन
of Chaitanya
समाचारी
Mahaprabhu?
धर्म नहीं सनातन नाम में रुचि रखो
He said that if you have
वैष्णव की सेवा
love
करो
for the name
और
of
जीव पर
the holy
दया
name,
करो
and
महाप्रभु ने कहा है ना कि जीवों पर दया करो तो ये जीव है इसका तो
so
नाम ही जीव है ये दो टाइप का मतलब डबल
you
जीव है
should
तो
always
क्या तुम्हें
have
नहीं पता है
mercy
कि इस पर
on the
दया
living
करनी
entities.
चाहिए
So how can
सनातन
you
गोस्वामी के
behave
कहने
in
पर
such a manner
रूप
with him?
गोस्वामी ने जीव
So
गोस्वामी को अपना लिया
after instruction from Sanatan
दंड
Goswami,
देने की कोई
Rup
बात नहीं थी
Goswami
इतिहास साबित करना है
accepted
भक्तों
him
हम
again.
लोगों के
So
लिए
it was not about the
सिद्धांत को
punishment.
प्रचारित करना
They were
बाकी
trying to
व्यक्ति का
reveal
नाम
the
उसमें मेंशन नहीं
principles
इस अवस्था में भी जीव
of
गोस्वामी ने अपने गुरु के
the
लिए
Vedic
बदल नहीं सोचा
injunctions.
यहाँ
So
तो गुरु जी
although
अगर
he
हमें
was
सत्य
punished in
बोल देते हैं तो
such
हम
a
गुरु जी को
way,
छोड़कर चले जाते हैं
but
ये
still
धर्म
Jiv
है ये
Goswami
आचार्य
never ever left his bona fide spiritual
हम
master.
अपने गुजरात में कहते हैं ना
Nowadays,
મફતમાં મળતા
if
એનું
someone,
મૂલ
if a
ચૂકવવા
guru
પડે
tells something that is even
સંતોને
true, they
સંતપણા
leave the bona
નથી
fide spiritual
મફતમાં
master.
મળતા
In
સાધુ
Gujarati, it's
बनना कोई
said
आसान
that
काम नहीं है
it's not
ये
easy to
तो मूल्य
become a
चुकाना पड़ता
saint.
है और
You
मूल्य
have
ये
to
है
pay a price for becoming a saint.
फिर आगे चलकर
So
रूप
afterwards,
गोस्वामी और जीव गोस्वामी साथ में
Rup
रहने लगे
Goswami and Jiv Goswami
भक्ति
stayed
रत्नाकर में
together,
लिखा है
and it's
कि
mentioned
एक
in
दिन
Bhakti Ratnakar that one day
द्वारकाधीश श्री रूप स्वहस्ते निर्माण करी दिला श्री जीवे रे। एक दिन श्री
One day,
रूप गोस्वामी के स्वप्न में आए
Sri Radha Damodar manifested
कि मैं जिस
in the dream of Jiva Goswami and said that this form which I have
अपने शिष्य जीव
manifested here,
दान करो।
so you make a deity in this form and give it to your disciple Jiva Goswami. So this is how he was given the service by his bona fide spiritual master, the way we discussed in the beginning of the Katha. So he was presented with Sri Radha Damodar by Rup Goswami, and he used to do a very beautiful devotional service towards them, and he used to cook for them and used to decorate them. He used to bathe them. Sometimes when he was busy with writing the books, he got busy or he has to leave. And if Radha Damodar Jiva Goswami and tell them that I want to eat this, and in this way Radha Damodar used to demand the bhoga from Jiva Goswami, that this is what we want to have. Imagine the ecstasy that Jiva Goswami might have felt. So this is how beautiful pastimes of Jiva Goswami were discussed. So gradually Sanatan and Rup Goswami left the material world. So one day Jiva Goswami became the topmost Vaishnava, and one day the king Akbar had a question that whether Ganga river is greater or Yamuna river is greater. So quite a few Vaishnavas collected and nobody was able to answer. So Birbal, his ministers, told that there is only one person who can answer that. And he said that only Jiva Goswami can answer that. But he has a principle that he will never leave Vrindavan even for one night. That so the king arranged such he made such arrangements that Jiva Goswami can come and go back in the same day. And he asked Jiva Goswami, who is greater, Ganga river or Yamuna river? So Jiva Goswami gave a very beautiful answer. He says that river Ganga stays in the pot of Brahmaji and purifies the three material worlds. Oh, he said that how can I tell you the glories of river Ganga? It's the water from the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, which Brahma had held in his pot, and which decorates the head of Lord Shiva and purifies all the three worlds. So, but for Yamuna, Manani, he said that this, this glorious river Ganga is just the water of the lotus feet of the Lord. So Ganga ji remains in the lotus feet of the Lord, but Yamuna Yamuna ji resides in the heart of Lord Shri Krishna. So you decide for yourself who is greater. The person who were intelligent, they can understand. So when the king became satisfied, he said that you can ask for a benediction. He said that I want two things from you. He said that that, that you are killing animals, especially the cows. You should stop doing that. And the second thing that I want paper. as I'm writing scriptures, so I'm in shortage of paper. He has written 4 lakh verses, so he needs paper. He is a saint. How can he manage to get paper? We have so much paper, and there's so many things that are mentioned in the Katha, but we're so lazy that we don't want to write anything. But our acharyas are magnificent. They wanted to write, but they didn't had paper. So let me tell you the intelligence of Jeev. He was so intelligent that used to write so quickly. So the ink that time, the ink they used to use ink pen. So he used to write so fast that the ink used to be damp, so he was unable to write on the backside of the page. So and he used to write on another page, so in this way he used more paper, and he had to dry his writings. So that was his distress. So he told the king that I want some papers. He said that till the day I am alive and you are there, you will never have a shortage of paper in your life. Whatever amount of paper you want, it will be delivered. And the paper was used to be delivered from the Delhi through Akbar. So as Amindaran Prabhu was mentioned that th- there was quite a few acharyas.
ये दुखी कृष्ण दास को ही श्यामानंद प्रभु कहकर जीव गोस्वामी ने ही उनका नाम बदला। बोले कृष्ण दास होकर
So Jeev Goswami renamed him from Dukhi Krishna Das to Shyamanand Das. So he had 3 disciples, Narottam Das and Srinivas Acharya. So he gave all the scriptures to Srinivas Acharya and sent him to Bangladesh. And to Narottam Das, he gave books and he sent him to Assam. And Shyamanand was sent to Odisha. And in this manner, he shared and spreaded the principles of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were shared with the world. So this was the first time the books of this disciplic succession were distributed by Jeev Goswami through the medium of his disciples. So you might have heard about the name of Mirabai, who used to stay in Mewar. So it's never mentioned that who is the spiritual master of Mirabai. But Mirabai had accepted Jeev Goswami as her spiritual master.
ऐसी लागी लगन, ऐसी लागी लगन, लागी लागी रे लगन, लागी लागी रे लगन। मीराबाई को लगनी लागी थी, लेकिन मीराबाई तो आप उनके भजन
Mirabai was attracted, and you might have heard about her bhajans, and she only discussed about Krishna. But there is one bhajan that she sang after meeting Jeev Goswami in front of your screen.
हरि नाम की लो लागी, सब जग को यह माखन चोरा, नाम धर्यो वैरागी, हरि नाम की लो। क्या करूं, भजन अच्छा है और पूर्णाहुति का समय आ चुका है, लेकिन मीराबाई ने
This bhajan is so beautiful, but it's a time to find up the katha. So, so there is still a temple where Jeev Goswami and Mirabai met, and she got the education or Harinam initiation from Mirabai. And this is what she writes, that now I'm attracted to the holy names of the Lord. For the whole world, he is the stealer of the butter, but in Kali Yuga, he became a Viragi or detached saint. So Mirabai says that, where have you left your damsels and your flute?
मुंड मुंडाए डोरी कटी बांधी माथे मोहन टोपी मुंड मुंडा दिया उस
So,
कृष्ण
and he shaved his head
आदि धारण
and
करके
he
चैतन्य
wore
महाप्रभु
the sacred thread, Yagupavid.
आगे कहती हैं
And
मात
she says
यशोमती
further,
माखन कारण बांधे जाके पाँव श्याम की किशोर भयो नव गोरा गोरा माने गौरांग महाप्रभु श्याम किशोर भयो
so,
नव गोरा चैतन्य
so now he from
ये मीराबाई
Shyam
की
or
रचना है
cloud
मीराबाई ने
colored, he
चैतन्य
became
महाप्रभु का जिक्र
white.
अपने भजनों में किया
Yes, that is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu,
पीताम्बर को
and
भाव
he is
विभाग
mentioned in bhajans
कोटि
of Mirabai.
कोटिन कसे
And then
कोटि
he says
कोटिन
that
कसे गौर
instead of
कृष्ण
wearing
की दासी है
pitambar
मीरा
now,
रसना
he
कृष्ण
is wearing
तो चैतन्य
kopin
महाप्रभु
cloth,
की ये दासी है मीरा
and now
जिसकी रचना
I
निरंतर
am
इनका
the
लेती है
humble servant of
तो इस प्रकार
such
से श्रीपाद
Krishna.
जीव गोस्वामी का
So, in
मानव
this
समाज के
manner,
लिए बहुत
Jeev
जीव
Goswami
गोस्वामी ने
has
अपने जीवन
given so
काल
much
में
to the society.
प्रमुख रूप से 15 ग्रंथ लिखे हैं
Throughout his
कितने
lifetime, he has
15
written
ग्रंथ
15
और इन 15
scriptures,
ग्रंथों में 4 लाख
and
श्लोक
in these 15
अद्भुत
scriptures, there are 4 lakh
यदि षड
verses.
संदर्भ को केवल एक नाम दिया जाए तो नहीं तो
If we
20 हो जाएंगे
see
तो सबसे पहले जीव
Shad as
गोस्वामी ने
1,
हरि
then
नामामृत
15,
जाप में
otherwise
लिखा
they will be considered as
अब
20.
इसके अंदर क्या क्या है सब बताने जाएंगे तो बड़ा
So if
विस्तार
I
होगा
discuss
तो पहला हरि
in
नामामृत
details the
जाप
books, then it will
दूसरा
be
श्री गोपाल
quite
विरुदावली
detailed. Let me just
भगवान
share the
कृष्ण
names.
की विरुदावली उनके लक्षण बताए तीसरा ग्रंथ लिखा भक्ति रसामृत सिंधु शेष रूप गोस्वामी ने भक्ति रसामृत सिंधु
So
लिखा
Rup Goswami wrote Nectar of Devotion. So he interpreted it that and continued further. And then he read Madhav Mahotsav, Shri Sankal,
भागवत संदर्भ
Bhagvat Sandarbh or Shat Sandarbh.
अब षड संदर्भ को यदि ले लिया जाए तो 6 संदर्भ कौन से हैं
So what are the 6 principles of Shat Sandarbh?
भगवत संदर्भ परमात्मा संदर्भ कृष्ण संदर्भ भक्ति संदर्भ और प्रीति संदर्भ इस प्रकार से कुल मिलाकर 11 ग्रंथ हुए
So in this manner 11 books were written. Then he wrote Samvadini and then Kram Sandarbh. That was the interpretation on Shrimad Bhagavatam. Then again he wrote Laghu Vaishnav Toshini, and then he wrote a book about Radha Krishna Archan Deepika, said how we should serve the deities of the Lord. Then he wrote Brahma Samhita, Agni Puranat Gayatri, Gopal Tapini Tika. He wrote the interpretation of a nectar of devotion, and then he wrote Ujjwal Neelmani, and he interpreted the signs or symbols of Krishna's lotus feet. Then he wrote Radhik, a book about the symbols of present in the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. Then Bhavartha Champu. So in this manner, he wrote in numerous scriptures, and the greatest of all was Gopal Champu, where he describes beautifully the interpretations or the pastimes of Lord Shri Krishna. So he wrote as many verses as Sri Vedvyas ji has written. So if whatever we are seeing in Seva Kunj, so he made that agreement with the king, and that agreement still is in the custody of Iskcon. And Nityanand Prabhu's wife, Janva Mata, came to Vrindavan. Then he took her for circumambulating the Vraj. And Jiva Goswami stayed there for 85 years. And out of that, he stayed in Vrindavan for 65 years. And he died. He left the material world in 1653 on the third day of the lunar calendar. He went to the eternal abode of the Lord, and his samadhi or cemetery is behind the temple, Radha Damodar temple, where you can visit and take his blessings. So in this manner, we have heard about Srila Jiva Goswami, and now the moment that we don't, nobody wants, that moment has arrived. So we all are tied with time, and we have to conclude our session. So, but whatever time we were able to spend with all of you while listening the glories of this SadGoswami and discussing about them made me feel happy and ecstatic, and we all are inspired by listening to the lifetime glories of the Acharyas. I have no qualification at all to say anything about their glories, because we are filled with material impurities, but yet by your blessings we are giving it a humble try. It might be possible that there might be some mistakes in that, but please accept our presentation and with love, and forgive me for my mistakes, and please bless me that we are able to follow these great acharyas, even if we get an iota of their principles in our life, we will become great. So these acharyas had quite few disturbances and distress, but yet they never left the path of their disciplic succession. So I request you all that even if you face distress or difficulty, you should never leave this pure disciplic succession. So that is what I ask as a benediction from all of you. And we end or conclude the session or this katha, and especially I thank Mehta and Devlukia family.
हमारी हेमा माता, शैलेश भाई, दीपा बहन, संदीप भाई, राधिका प्रीति माता, घनश्याम प्रिय प्रभु, नचिकेत भाई, हसू बहन, आप सभी भक्तों का भूरी भूरी धन्यवाद.
I'm really grateful to all of you, and we specially pray for Deepa Mataji that she recovers fast, and Lord bless you all with pure devotional service of the Lord. That is our prayer. So from UK, our Bharat Bhai and Nayan Manjari Mataji, who is sitting since last 6 days and listening this the katha with so much mellow. I thank Shamanand Prabhu, who couldn't sleep throughout the 6 nights while listening the katha. I really thank you. And it was problematic for the devotees from India or Bharat, but still you all heard carefully with love and patience. We are really thankful to you. Please stay there constant and listen to this katha, and please be there for us. So let's conclude the session from the UK's Vyaspeeth with Jai Jaikar.
भागवतम महापुराण की श्री कृष्ण चंद्र भगवान